Ah, here it is, right on schedule, so my retribution has begun. I said it out loud, even though I was alone. I knew this because I could tell it was her without even looking. Why? Because I changed the ringtone I had set on her number. It was the song El Degüello. You know the song the Mexican army played for the boys they rounded up at the Alamo. It means cut throat, and they played it non-stop, meaning they wouldn't give the besieged a chance. I was so damn angry at my whore wife for ruining our marriage and breaking up my family that I needed my pound of flesh. I didn't answer because I knew she'd be so pissed that I didn't answer, that she wouldn't leave a message but would keep dialing until I called, and with each subsequent call, she would get angrier and angrier. I decided that 6 times would be enough. I sat in my cheap motel room just off Highway 6 and choked on one of those microwave burritos sitting on the edge of my bed-bug-infested bed. My wife may have been a whore, but she cooked really good. Hell, why did she have to do that? I wasn't too worried about the lousy room because my brother said the kids and I could stay with them for a while until I got all my lawsuit money. Then we could get an apartment big enough for me and the kids and maybe with a pool. Plus, Mary would have to pay me quite a bit of child support, and that would help. When I explained to the kids what their mom did, I swear I heard our 18-year-old Darlene snicker, but I could have been wrong. I told them they were going to live with me. They seemed excited at the prospect because they started cheering each other on, excited to get pizza often. It all started about a month ago. I found out about this bitch's betrayal a month ago. Apparently, she had been cheating on me for over a year, and I was the typical clueless, loving husband. I found out by accident. No, really, there was an accident on the highway I was taking home from the feed mill, and I had to take a detour through the regular streets. As I passed the Blue Dolphin Motel on 2nd Avenue, I thought I saw my wife's car in the parking lot. I turned around and drove back. Sure enough, there stood her 5-year-old Kia with personalized license plates, Mary's the one. Who is stupid enough to cheat on their spouse with a car with personalized license plates? I had only waited a few minutes when I found out about it. My wife came out of room 176 with a tall, handsome young guy I had never seen before. She stood on her toes and showered him with hot kisses while he freely massaged her breasts right in front of God and everyone else. It looked like she'd forgotten to put her bra on, too. I pulled away, letting the steam out of my ears. I know that in most cases, the ignorant shithead husband has to burst into tears and/or head to the bar to get so drunk he can't even see straight. Then he has to go through the whole, what did I do wrong to deserve this argument with himself while he bulges his eyes out. Most people aren't even sure they want to divorce a cheating wife, but not me. I was divorcing the bitch, that was a given. But really, I was going to get my retribution. I didn't care why she did it. She and the lover were going to go down and go down hard. So I played the typical clueless husband and pretended for a few days that everything was normal in the house while I schemed and planned everything out. After meeting with an attorney to do the paperwork, I was pretty much ready to go, and it was going to be a beautiful sight to behold. The first part of my revenge plan was to harass the asshole she was sleeping with. After I got his name by giving the motel clerk $20, I found out where he lived. At least he was single, so my wife wasn't breaking up 2 families. Saturday morning, I caught him walking out of a luxury lakeside townhouse and kicked his ass for cheating. He was a lot bigger and younger than me, but after I hit him with a stun gun and he went down shaking uncontrollably, I beat the shit out of him without much trouble. That bastard will never use his privates again, I'm sure. Mary was out of town at another seminar, since when does a secretary have to go to seminars? That's when I found out she had more than one boyfriend. So while she was gone, I had time to do all the usual bank stuff. I took all $1,195 from our checking and $89 from our savings bank and put it in an account in my name only. I was going to cancel one of our credit cards, but it was still maxed out. I must have gone over the limit when I bought a RL fly fishing rod last month. Winston Pure. The credit card rep said I couldn't cancel it until it was paid off. I then sent copies of the video and audio tapes the investigator gave me that documented all of her misbehavior to everyone I could. When I got the evidence, I found out she had a 3rd boyfriend. What a slut. I guess I didn't have a real investigator. I couldn't afford that kind of expense, but I used my cousin Randy, who worked at Radio Shack. He knew how to use all this surveillance stuff, and it only cost me a case of PBR. He had no overhead because he could borrow from his store all the high-tech gadgets he needed to get the job done. Besides, it only took him a few days to deliver the goods to Mary. He was surprised, too. He told me that she must be really dumb because she doesn't hide the fact that she has sex at all. So, like I said, I emailed copies of all my evidence to each of her coworkers, family, and friends with a note explaining what a slut she is. I bet they would give her a hard time for that, cut her out of their lives, and she would have to live a reclusive life for the rest of her life to hide her shame. I even sent one letter to her 93-year-old grandmother. I felt a little bad because she was a sweet old lady, and seeing that shit could give her a heart attack. But I was going to scorch the earth, so Grandma was on the list. I also sent copies to her bosses at work to get her fired and had my lawyer sue her company for violating the morals clause. He told me he had heard that they usually pay out over $300,000 for such cases. I asked my legal eagle to file an alienation of affection suit against the 3 boyfriends I knew about and all the others I found out about later. He seemed hesitant, but charged me an extra $300 because he said such lawsuits would cost more. I then made a bunch of 8 inches x 10 inches flyers showing her naked and sleeping with one of her lovers, with her name and cell phone number, and hung them up in the men's restrooms of all the bars in town. You know, it said, "For a good time." But best of all, using all the videos I got from my cousin, I set up a paid porn site on the internet for the bitch. And all the money from it was going into my new checking account. Only $47 so far, but it's only been a few days. So that was it, 6 calls, and I answered her next call in 5 seconds. "Good to hear your voice, honey. How was your day?" What the hell is going on, Bobby? Why are you divorcing me? Because you're cheating on me, bitch. That's why. I understand, Bobby, but I mean, this has been going on for months and it never bothered you. So why now? My God, are you telling me you didn't know? Of course I didn't know what was wrong with you. What makes you think I even know anything about it? Take that, bitch. Have you even noticed that I haven't been home in 2 days? No, not really. You're rarely home anyway. Well, I was sure that when your mom caught me leaving the motel room a few months ago with Thomas, she would have told you. When you didn't jump me that night, I figured you just didn't care. Yesterday, when I found out about your revenge, I couldn't understand why you were so upset. So I called your mom. She told me that she never said anything to you about it because if you're anything like your dad, she understands why I'm cheating, so she just left it at that. Oh yeah, and she asked me to tell you not to even think about moving in with her. 25 years of your lazy ass was all she could take. True, she said she'd be happy to have the kids stay with her if I wanted to take the weekend off to do something. But still, Bobby, I didn't hide it. You had to know. You mean none of your friends told you? Well, I guess at least now I know why you're so upset. It's actually kind of embarrassing. Seriously, none of your friends said a word to you? Which of my so-called friends haven't said a word to me? Well, I mean Bill, Tommy, Chris, Pat, and a few others who saw me in bars and other places with other men. That was another reason I figured you didn't care. Are you sure you want a divorce? Of course I'm going to divorce you, you stupid bitch. First of all, Bobby, please stop calling me names and let's deal with this like adults. I mean, we have to come to an understanding, but if you want a divorce, then so be it. We can work out a joint custody agreement if you want, but right now, I'm leaning towards giving custody to you. You'll last about 30 days before you beg me to take the kids back. You do know that keeping track of 3 teenagers might take too much time spent drinking with your buddies, right? Not to mention you might have to tell them no from time to time. Being a single parent means becoming an adult. Do you even know when Darlene's graduation is, or when John has karate practice, or maybe what medications the kids are allergic to? I bet you don't even know the address of the school they go to. Well, no, but I can learn. Besides, I talked to them about it and they want to stay with me. She started laughing hysterically, but finally calmed down enough to continue. Sure, Bobby, you can be their big brother and they'll eat pizza every night of the week. That solves everything. You get custody. They won't fire me at work. They laughed at your lawsuits and asked, what's with the morality clause? Seriously, Bobby, I work at a law firm. Who ever heard of a law firm with morals? Your alienation of affection lawsuits got a good laugh, too. Seriously, Bobby, does your lawyer really have a license to practice law, or did you screw up and pay the People's Choice Law Clinic all $795 up front? You'll be hearing from the police soon, and poor Thomas will be suing you to recover his medical expenses. You really should have at least worn a mask and hidden your license plates. When I showed her your divorce papers, my lawyer started laughing because there is no fault in this state. It took her 10 minutes to stop laughing, plus she had to show your papers to all the other attorneys in the office. They all said it was the best laugh they've had in years. Most of my friends and family have called to support me and ask why I didn't leave you years ago. Of course, if it makes you feel any better, your brother called me a selfish bitch for cheating on you, but then he asked me out on a date when our divorce was final. I told his wife about it when she called to congratulate me. She asked if she could use my lawyer. By the way, besides the police finding out about revenge porn, the feds will be contacting you too. Something about RICO laws? And Bobby, does the name Patty Johnson mean anything to you? Well, I mean, no, not really. Oh, shit! Hysterical laughter again, interspersed with sarcasm. That's very good, Bobby, because my friend Lisa saw Patty walk into the free clinic yesterday. I'm just saying, holy shit. What's more, you've gained 40 pounds in the last 10 years, all on your stomach. You have no idea what foreplay is, and you've been holding out for about 90 seconds. Jesus, I used about 20 stimulants until I got tired of changing them, and I found myself 4 guys. 4? Shit, I only knew about 3. Don't feel bad about that, Bobby. I was more discreet with your cousin Ralph. Ralph! Shut up, Bobby, I'm on a roll. Besides doing everything else around the house, you know I pay all the bills. Did you really think I wouldn't notice $220 a month for porn? I left it out because once again I thought you knew about my extracurricular activities. You don't do a damn thing around the house either. We have the smallest and ugliest lawn in the neighborhood, and I still can't get you to mow the damn thing more than once a quarter. Remember when we thought we lost little Amanda? But she was just sitting in the middle of the lawn and the grass was taller than she was. I think you're exaggerating a little, Mary. I could clearly see her head from the top step of the porch. And finally, did you really need to send a copy to my grandmother? I went to her and apologized. She cackled when she said it looked like I'd taken a cue from her. I didn't know what to say back. Obviously, the conversation wasn't going the way I expected. She should have been sobbing hysterically, begging me for forgiveness, saying we could have counseling and declaring that she would fight for a divorce because she loved me so much. Look, Bobby, I was going to divorce you when little Amanda turns 18 anyway, but if you want to divorce now, we can do it. You are going to divorce me? Why would you want to do that? Because I'm tired of 4 kids at home, that's why. But we only have 3 kids. You're the 4th child, Bobby. You should have talked to me about all this, Mary. I tried, Bobby, but I gave up years ago. Remember how many times I tried to talk to you at home, but you told me not now because the Astros were losing by 6 points in the 7th inning and they needed your help? No, I really don't remember that. That's probably true of you, because the only things you remember are that the refrigerator has to be filled with PBR and that you go fishing with your friends. And then, of course, Patty. But there is an alternative to divorce. We can just leave things the way they are. I'll even give you your 90 seconds 3 times a month like I do now if you want, but I'll still have my male friends. That is, after you get out of jail, of course. I promise to be more discreet in the future. Sorry about that part, but like I said, I thought you knew. Anyway, what's it going to be, Bobby?